From the moment Victor Osimhen burst onto the European scene, many assumed his path would quickly lead to a traditional football powerhouse. Clubs like Real Madrid, Manchester United, Chelsea, or Paris Saint-Germain. His rise was impressive. After winning the Golden Boot at the 2015 FIFA U17 World Cup with Nigeria, he moved to Europe, first with Wolfsburg and later shining at Lille. When Napoli signed him in 2020 for around $75 million, it became the most expensive African transfer at the time, and expectations grew that a move to an even bigger club would soon follow. However, several factors delayed that move. One of the most significant barriers was Napoli's valuation of Osimhen. After he led Napoli to their historic 22-23 Serie A title, the club's first in 33 years, President Aurelio De Laurentiis placed a price tag of $150 million on him. For example, in the summer of 2023, Chelsea and Manchester United both held talks with Napoli about a potential transfer, but neither club was willing to meet the asking price. United, for instance, eventually opted for Rasmus Højlund for around $75 million, almost half of Osimhen's value. Injuries also influenced clubs' hesitation. In 2021, Osimhen suffered a serious facial injury in a match against Inter Milan, which required surgery and led to him wearing a protective mask. He also experienced multiple muscle and hamstring injuries across several seasons. Top clubs saw this as a risk, especially when preparing to spend a record fee. For example, Paris Saint-Germain, who admired him as a successor to Kylian Mbappé, were concerned about long-term availability and instead chose Gonçalo Ramos and Randal Kolo Muani in 2023. The transfer environment was made even more difficult by Napoli's strict negotiation stance. De Laurentiis is known for rarely compromising on star players. When Bayern Munich tried to negotiate for defender Kalidou Koulibaly in 2020, Napoli refused to lower the price, an example of how difficult major signings from Napoli can be. Interested clubs were aware that signing Osimhen would require full payment with no discounts or easy terms. Another factor was tactical fit and timing within the market. Osimhen thrives in fast, vertical counter-attacking systems. Some elite clubs that dominate possession had doubts about whether he would match their style. For example, Manchester City preferred Erling Haaland, a more complete link-up striker for their system, when they were shopping for a number 9 in 2022. Similarly, Barcelona were focused on Robert Lewandowski in 2022 due to his compatibility with their possession-first approach and Champions League pedigree. Meanwhile, during key transfer windows, other established or cheaper alternatives were available. Clubs frequently weighed Osimhen against strikers like Harry Kane, who joined Bayern Munich for around 100 million. Erling Haaland signed for 60 million release clause, or Dusan Vlahovic. Juventus signed him for 70 million. Compared to these deals, Osimhen's price appeared significantly higher, making clubs question the value balance. Finally, Osimhen's limited Champions League resume early on meant clubs wanted more proof at the highest level. Before the 2022-23 season, he had only a few UCL appearances. Although he later scored crucial Champions League goals against Eintracht Frankfurt, helping Napoli reach the quarter-finals, some clubs had already committed elsewhere before this breakout. In the end, a combination of a record-high valuation, injury worries, Napoli's tough negotiating style, tactical considerations, competition from other high-profile strikers, and limited early Champions League exposure delayed Osimhen's move to a traditional super club. His talent was never questioned. The circumstances simply made the perfect transfer timing more complicated than most expected.